Welcome back to another Explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into the vibrant and maybe just a little bit cynical world of local election season. We're going to break down those classic, absolutely timeless tropes of local politics that we see in village politics gossip. It's kind of like a masterclass in how everyday voters actually process all those flashy campaign promises. Okay, let's dive right into this. Right off the bat, we meet a character named Ganya, and he kicks things off with this brilliant quote: "The winner is the one who makes the most promises." I mean, talk about setting a satirical tone, right? Ganya isn't sitting there over-analyzing complex economic plans. He's just stating a slightly cynical, but honestly, universal truth about election seasons everywhere. It tells us right away that the villagers we're about to meet, yeah, they are highly seasoned observers of this whole political game.
So, moving into section 1, tea and election discussions.
Look, you really can't talk about village politics without mentioning the local tea stall. It's literally the town hall and the evening newsroom just rolled into one. Here on the screen, you can see our core panel of everyday voters. We've got Patil, Sham, Ganya, and of course, the ever-observant Chaiwala. Now, these guys aren't professional political pundits. They're the actual electorate. And their everyday banter gives us this incredibly grounded look at grassroots politics and how voters genuinely feel about the people leading them. Which brings us to Section 2, Promises versus Ground Reality. And this brilliantly illustrates the stark contrast between those grand political visions and, well, daily reality. Politicians love to promise things like water to every home, but as Sham points out, the reality is water only flows in their speeches. And when Nethaji promises new roads, Patil quickly notes that the reality is trying to find the actual road hidden inside the giant potholes. It really highlights how these empty campaign slogans just end up becoming the punchlines of local jokes. All right, Section 3, the politician's entry. So, just as the villagers are completely roasting the previous elections, the man himself, the opportunistic politician, Netaji, arrives on the scene. And it follows this totally predictable three-step cycle. Step 1, the politician arrives boldly declaring, "I will change the village." Step 2, the crowd immediately remembers the past. And Step 3, reality hits. Like Sham quietly mutters to the group, the last time Netaji promised massive change, literally the only things that changed were the campaign posters on the walls. Moving on to Section 4, taking a dig at nepotism. So the crucial point here is that Netaji doesn't just stop at vague infrastructure promises. He tries to appeal directly to the youth, making this massive claim: every youth will get a job. But Ganya? He's not having it. He immediately delivers a brutal reality check, yelling right back, "First, end your nephew's job, sir." It's this fearless call-out of obvious nepotism, and it earns loud applause from the crowd. It just goes to show that voters are highly aware of political hypocrisy. They definitely notice when leaders promise a fair meritocracy but clearly practice blatant favoritism. And finally, Section 5, real work is most important. As the scene starts to wind down, the Chaiwala offers up this really sharp observation. He says, "Village politics and tea both are incomplete without gossip." I think that perfectly summarizes the whole symbiotic relationship between roadside tea stalls and political banter. Because this gossip, it isn't just malicious chatter. It's actually a vital form of democratic accountability. It's exactly how everyday voters process, critique, and most importantly, remember the actions and the inactions of their leaders. And that brings us right to the core message of the whole script. Real, grounded work is just so much more important than a politician's empty promises. Beyond all the clever jokes about potholes and employed nephews, this is what genuinely matters to voters at the end of the day. Action simply speaks a whole lot louder than a catchy campaign slogan. So as we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with one final question to chew on. Are mere promises really enough to win an election anymore? We've seen just how sharply voters can cut right through the noise, but cycle after cycle, those grand promises just keep coming. Thanks so much for joining me to unpack this fascinating look at grassroots politics. I hope it gave you some fun insights to think about during your very next tea break.